A draft resolution on raising the Palestinian flag at the United Nations is set to be adopted next week. The measure is expected to garner a majority of votes in the 193-nation forum. Palestinian envoy to the UN, Riyad Mansour, says they have the votes and they are working to gather more. He says the act would give Palestinians the hope that the international community supports them to have their own state. Once the resolution is adopted, the UN will have 20 days to act accordingly. That's when Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas will be visiting New York.
Vote has been requested. We shall now begin the voting process. Those in favor of draft resolution A/69/L87 revision/1, please signify. Those against? Abstentions.
Will all delegations kindly confirm that their votes are accurately reflected on the screen?
In favor, 119. Against, 8. Abstentions, 45. Draft resolution A/69/L87/revision 1 is adopted.
Let no one in this hall or around the world be fooled by the outcome of today's vote. The Assembly would vote to declare that the earth is flat if the Palestinians propose it.
Today's vote is a reaffirmation of the legitimacy of the national aspirations of the Palestinian people, of their existence among the nations of the world, and their right to self-determination.
A controversial resolution voted strongly in favor. 119 members said yes to raising observer states flags at the United Nations headquarters. That's to say the Palestinian and Vatican flags. 8 said no, including the furious Israel. Its representatives slammed the move as breaking the UN rule of flying only member states' flags.
The real question we face is not whether the Palestinians will raise a flag, but whether the United Nations will raise a white flag and surrender the principles of this institution itself. Make no mistake, the goal of this resolution is a photo op.
The US also voted no.
Raising the Palestinian flag outside the UN headquarters is not an alternative to negotiations and will not bring the parties closer to peace.
A view shared by many of the 45 members that abstained.
We believe that the focus needs to be on a return to meaningful negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians in order to achieve a lasting and just solution to the conflict, which can only be a two-state solution.
France voted in favor, stressing that the two-state solution must remain the only path. For Palestinians, it marks another symbolic victory.
It's a step further towards the recognition of Palestine as a full-fledged member of the United Nations.
The Palestinian flag is expected to be raised on September the 30th, and President Mahmoud Abbas will speak at the UN General Assembly.
What happened at the UN is a very important step on the march of the Palestinian cause, because we got an almost complete consensus.
A resolution was adopted on Thursday by the UN General Assembly. It allows the flag of Palestine to be hoisted alongside those of other UN member states. The flag is expected to be hoisted ahead of the September 30th visit by Abbas to address the UN General Assembly. The world body upgraded the status of Palestinians to that of non-member observer state in 2012. Thursday's resolution was adopted by 119 UN members. 8, including Israel and the United States, voted against it, and 49 abstained. Israel's ambassador to the UN criticized Thursday's vote, saying it will not help the Palestinian people. The Israeli official insisted the only way to achieve statehood is through direct negotiations. Israeli-Palestine peace talks have stalled since U.S. diplomatic efforts failed in April of 2014.
Very good. I want to say here, in 10 Downing Street reaffirm again that I am ready to resume direct negotiations with the Palestinians with no conditions whatsoever to enter negotiations, and I'm willing to do so immediately.
There's a lot to talk about today. There's the close relationship between Britain and Israel. There's the growing economic and commercial ties between our countries. There's also some enormously important global threats to discuss, particularly the threat of Islamist extremism, most notably from ISIL in Syria and Iraq. So we'll be discussing all those things. Britain remains staunch in our defence of Israel's right to exist and right to defend itself. We also remain thoroughly committed to the two-state solution and the peace process, which we'll also discuss today. But it's great to welcome you.
The UN General Assembly overwhelmingly voted for raising the Palestinian flag at the UN headquarters.
Will all delegations kindly confirm that their votes are accurately reflected on the screen?
The Palestinian proposed resolution was opposed by the US and Israel, among others, while most of the EU nations abstained. The outcome was fiercely criticized by the Israeli ambassador to the UN, who described it as a surrender of the UN principles. However, the Palestinian envoy hailed it as a step toward the recognition of Palestine as a full UN member.
Today's vote is a reaffirmation of the legitimacy of the national aspirations of the Palestinian people, of their existence among the nations of the world, and their right to self-determination, to be a free people in control of their lives and destiny in their own independent state. The General Assembly's adoption of this resolution will help to restore some hope to our people and leadership to fulfill the rights of the Palestinian people, achieve a just and sustainable peace, and secure Palestine's rightful place among the community of nations.
The General Assembly ratified the recognition of the sovereign state of Palestine back in 2012 as an observer member. Palestinians resorted to a General Assembly vote after the U.S. vetoed their repeated bids to secure full UN membership at the Security Council.